in Times Square on the left. And we do drop the crystal ball every New Year's Eve from atop the flagpole. Luminance, we're at the Netherlander on 41st Street. One of the few Broadway shows with a story takes place in New York, Alphabet City in the East Village, about young struggling New Yorkers back in the 1970s. And here is the Garment District, once the clothing making center of the world. We have the famous Parsons School of Fashion Design. It's the home of Project Runway. A lot of our famous fashion designers are headquartered here. Oscar de la America were made in this area. Now, we don't really manufacture clothing here anymore, but we design a lot of it. 1 in 3 articles of clothing that's made in America is designed right here. Not just by the famous ones, but the up-and-coming new entrepreneurs. The Garment District. Now, New York City is a city of some 8.2 million people. We are the most populous city in the United States. However, we are also a delightful city of many different districts and neighborhoods, each with their own personality and character. We have some 400 of them, and I bet you can all find the neighborhood that suits your own personality and character. By the way, raise your hand if this is your first visit to New York City. How many first-timers? Don't be embarrassed. Ah, maybe a little more than half the bus. Well, that's cool. And by the way, I would like to take this time to thank you all for choosing New York City for your holiday, for your vacation. Hope you're having a nice time so far. Are you? Yeah. All right, great. All right. So here on the right is the home of Fashion Week every February. They put up the big tents, and we got the models, the runways, the designers showing the latest designs. This is also an oasis business crowd to have their lunch. This park is named after a very important poet, a newspaper man named William Cullen Bryant. Back in the 80s. New York City, by the way, produces 120 television programs collectively through our networks.
HBO building. This one.
And now for one of our very favorite buildings, the Chrysler Building. Nice example of Art Deco. It was the world's tallest building when completed in 1930. See if you can spot the automobile gargoyles sticking out from about 2/3 of the way up. Now that was the world's tallest building until it was eclipsed by the building we're going to see shortly, the Empire State Building, as we approach Fifth Avenue. Now this is our main branch of our beautiful public library, 90 years old, 80 miles of bookshelves. And some of you might have seen at least the inside of this library in the movies. Did anybody ever see Ghostbusters, the first movie? And out in front, at our eye level to the right, I would like to introduce to you to our literary lions. Meet Patience and Fortitude. Now those lions were given those names by the mayor of New York City back in the 1930s, Fiorello LaGuardia. Because the stock market had crashed in 1929, we were plunged into the Depression, a very difficult time. So the qualities of Patience and the oldest department store chain. It was founded downtown in 1828, 30 years before Macy's. They were the first to have the holiday display windows, the festive ones, during the Christmas and holiday shopping season. Long associated as a great place for romantic encounters. 3 different versions of the movie An Affair to Remember, including one with Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. Sleepless in Seattle with Tom Hanks, right? United at the end. How about 3 different versions of King Kong? Has anyone seen at least one version of King Kong? How about 2? Has anyone seen all 3? Wow, that's pretty good. Including the original, 1933 with Fay Wray. Now the Empire State Building is indeed an office building. 15,000 people work there during the daytime. It was built with enough steel to build a 400-mile railroad. When completed in 1931, it was the world's tallest building for 40 years, until the Sears Tower in Chicago eclipsed it. Nowadays, the world's tallest office building is in Taipei, Taiwan, the Taipei 101 Tower. However, at the site of the World Trade Center, Ground Zero, believe it or not, we're in the process of building a structure that will be 30 floors taller than the top of that radio tower. It's called the Freedom Tower. It's going to top out at 1,776 feet to honor the first year of America's Declaration of Independence. The Empire State Building, including the Mohawk American Indians from upstate New York, who had legendary skills in construction and absolutely no fear of heights. They would leap from steel beam to steel beam. The stop will be also at the Empire State Building, but at the end of the tour. And the Barnes & Noble bookstore chain was also born in this area in 1873, one of the early locations here on the left at 18th Street. And these buildings were designed beautifully to attract both the merchants and the shoppers in the late 1800s. Now let's see where everybody's from tonight. This is kind of a fun little game I like to play. Raise your hand if you are from